All right, so I guess what we want to know is what resonated with you most about the script originally when you read it, and we'll just take you in turn.
Myself, what resonated most? Hours of prosthetics, and a chair, and a whole playing a character from birth to death. That's what resonated with me, and I didn't want any part of it.
Resonated in a different way, in a negative way.
You know, I felt it was the absolute ambition of the film to span the life of one man's experience, you know, through the multifarious experiences that make up a life, and to do it in a way that was non-sentimental and as robust as possible. And when I knew, you know, obviously that David was going to direct it, then you knew it was going to be an interesting journey.
And non-sentimental.
And non-sentimental.
For a change.
Yeah, exactly.
All those
The lying years of sentiment. I just read a script that I loved and a story that a story that I wanted to be a part of, and you know, a DVD I wanted to own.
Were you interested in the ambition of it though, like the scope of it, the fact that it was so big?
Yeah. Again, you know, it's hard to say this with a straight face, but it's true. When you read it on the page, it doesn't seem as daunting as when you see it. When you see it, you kind of become more aware of just how much movement is in it. You know what I mean? When you see it in pictures, it's just like the character. When you can talk about Benjamin Button, you can talk about this idea of an 85-year-old man who's really 6 years old inside, and it's just a different thing than when you see it. When you see it, you go, there's a whole different kind of emotional connection to it. So I didn't really think of it in terms of, oh, this is daunting. Oh, this sounds impossible. I should definitely sign up for that. Let me see who else I could sucker into it. It's kind of, you look at it and you go, is this one of those, is this a 2-disc set I want on my mantle?
He's also saying this 5-6 years down the road, and you know, after a lot of work, and I'm sure if he'd seen the list of hurdles he'd have to get over beforehand.
It's that horrible situation where you go, well, I've given it 2 years. Well, I've given it 2.5 years. Well, we're 3.5 years into this, so I might as well. Yeah. But if somebody said to you, here's a script, this will take 6 years to make, you probably wouldn't go, oh, geez, where do I sign up?
You just have to get slowly pot committed.
Yeah.
You said you talked about playing a character from birth to death. Not a common thing to be able to do. Was it challenging, interesting, unusual in any way, or did you just look at it like any other part?
Well, I mean, other than keeping a track of the math or attempting to, because it was in reverse order, age versus experience, but no, it was more about the subject matter and you know, talking about what we wanted this to be, what we didn't want it to be. You know, Fincher early on described it as a movie about a man's life and the people who make dents in it along the way, the people who have a lasting impression. And he also talked about what it wouldn't be, and that was the ballad of codependency. We weren't going to go down that road. We wanted to give more to an audience, and that meant a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the focus, to answer your question, for me, or the interpretation. A lot of the scenes for Benjamin are reaction to those people who leave dents in him, and we wanted that. It was more important, the focus of what is that interpretation, and how does that then shape him.
Yeah, it seems like it could possibly turn into a more reactive character. I don't think he is, actually. I think he's the guy that volunteers. He volunteers to join the tugboat. He volunteers to become the cook. So I mean, he's in there.
Yeah, in a sense. But I guess it's, of course, and there's that responsibility for decisions. You know, I often ponder where's that, you know, that line of fate and that line of self-creation. I'm not sure where it is. It seems to constantly be moving. But
I think it's often a misconception with characters in stories, and certainly in films, because we can take them so literally, is that a character arrives fully formed. But what is unique about Benjamin, which is, and true to life, is that we become who we are. And what you witness is you watch the process of Benjamin becoming through experience.
And the choices we make from those
Yeah.
experiences. Yeah.
Major difference too from the story where he comes out as a fully formed adult man in the short story, right? Doesn't he? And then,
Well, I'm glad I never read it. Yes, he does. As a matter of
all
fact.
right.
Isn't that Mork and Mindy?
Yes, it actually is. Which, but that was after they jumped the shark, so I didn't. That was a whole part of this. That was the last lean years.
You were talking about the dents that people make on the on him, like what you described as a cue ball.
Yeah, you know, yeah, I wanted to make a movie about a guy's life in terms of who the people that he collided with and the marks that they left on him.
So I guess we should address some of who those other balls on the table are. Some of the other side characters and who played them, I think. Do we want to get into that? I don't know.
Sure. We had the luxury of a fantastic cast, and I know you're supposed to say that every movie, but we did.
I find Taraji absolutely heartbreaking in this film. I just think she's like an open book.
Taraji Henson plays the mother figure of Benjamin. Jason Fleming plays the father. It's fantastic.
The abandoning father.
And Tilda Swinton.
Plays his first love affair.
I mean, I think
Julia
that-
Ormond plays
yeah.
the daughter, who I worked with some years ago. Who am I missing? Jared Harris.
Jared Harris.
Plays Captain Mike.
Mahershala Hashbaz Ali.
And kind of
How
a
long did it
substitute
take you to
father figure.
memorize that
It
name?
only took me about 9 months to be able to pronounce that.
Ali,
Ali.
the beloved Mr. Weathers.